let's welcome Mikko Valtonen, who's already on the stage, from Nuuka.
Thank you.
Grab a seat, Mikko.
Yeah.
Great. I'll just get my notes. So I think for those who don't know maybe Nuuka so well, why don't you give an introduction to the company as well as yourself?
Well, thank you for having me. So I'm the CEO of Nuuka. We do building big data management, which means that we can help buildings to become more energy efficient, more sustainable, and most importantly, much smarter than they are today. So kind of the vision is to, when you walk into a building in 5 years from now, the building will work for you rather than you work for the building when you either shop or work or live in those buildings.
That's cool. I've always wanted to work less, so that's cool.
Yeah, me too.
I like the idea of that. So I'm going to put you right on the spot right now. Tonight's all about impact. The urban space is where most of us spend our time, or the majority of our time. So can you give us any idea about the current portfolio that Nuuka has that's using the software and the service, and what the carbon savings might be from that portfolio?
Yeah, so currently we are connected to roughly a little bit more than 1,000 buildings, most of them here in the Nordics, but some of them also in Benelux and Baltics and US. And we last year, when we did the impact calculation, I think the final figure for CO2 was 900 tons of CO2 saved, which is roughly 600 cars off the streets here in Finland, for example.
Cool.
So, and that of course comes from making the buildings more efficient, more sustainable, and the whole HVAC process is more optimized.
Yeah, it's cool for you to mention the HVAC processes, because there is a lot going on with Nuuka, I understand. One thing, though, which is interesting, we talk about impact as avoiding negative impacts a lot. But what are some of I understand that there's a different kind of impact, a positive one that I guess you could talk a little bit about that goes beyond energy efficiency and beyond cleaner air in buildings. So do you want to let everybody know about that? And we might invite anyone in the audience to ask any questions on this very interesting thing that Nuuka can do.
Yeah, so typically where we start from is that we optimize what we call the building processes. So basically the HVAC processes, and that helps, of course, the energy performance of the building and so on and so forth. And that's typically the first stage. But then I think more importantly, we are looking at how do we make the building more smart, more sustainable, and a better user experience for people who use that building. And when I say that, I mean examples like you have an office building and you have conference rooms downstairs. So these days, if you cram 30 people in a conference room, after 30 minutes, everybody's feeling tired and warm and things like that. But if you would connect the air cooling system, for example, of that conference room to your occupancy sensor data, then you can already start cooling the building or the room when the people start walking into that room. So we are all about connecting the different big data into our platform and connecting the data in those buildings in a new way that creates a better user experience for the users of the building. And if the users are happy, then typically also the owner is happy, because you can, of course, then have longer term rents and things like that.
Yeah, so it's that positive impact there on the user experience inside the building.
Yes, and then of course the good indoor air environment and all these things that you can now measure the CO2 content, for example, of a conference room and automatically help the HVAC process to optimize that to the best possible user experience.
Great. Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions at the moment for Mikko and Nuuka? Is there anyone at all? I really would invite you to throw your hands up. Any clarifications on what this company's doing? No, everybody's good? Great. Well, I mean, what's a final kind of message you might want to give to everyone about Nuuka and what you're up to and your plans to increase this impact and the business in general?
Well, I think this year we've experienced quite a high growth, actually, in terms of getting new customers, getting new buildings connected. And I think the whole world of built environment is roughly about 60% of the energy consumption and the consumption of natural resources in general. And our track record shows that we can save roughly 20% on those at first hand. So that's of course a big impact. But then more importantly, when you connect all that data into one, the user experience I think is very well received within our customer base. And I think the message in that sense to increasing the building value really sits well with a lot of our customers.
Great stuff, great stuff. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the stage here for the Sexy Truth, Mikko. Would everyone give a round of applause for Mikko as we send him off? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll take that from you.